Hi, everyone. I'm Aliza Sherman. I'm the CEO of Ellementa and the publisher of hercanalife.com. We are here today for a short 30-minute session, but it's a wonderful, powerful session for all of us during this time. I know we're all going through a lot of challenges. We all have a lot of stress, and we are here for you. And with the power of technology, we are here with you. So I want to quickly show a slide. If I could do that really quickly. Let's see. I'm going to do this. Actually, two slides. And popping over. This is the technical part of the program. So one moment. I want to get these two slides for you. And the reason I want to share these slides, one of them is about Elana's company, and the other is about one of our leaders who is having a bit of a hard time, and we'd like to help. So one second. Here we go. I love these things. Just like 3 clicks. All right. Here we go. I wanted to just show you this first. Elana, there you are. There's your book, Women in Weed. She will be doing an April book club with us. And then Indigo and Haze is her company, and she'll tell you about that in a moment. And here are some of her beautiful, luscious products. Indigoandhaze.com. You can purchase any of these as well. And she ships, correct?
I do.
Okay.
I do. Even in these times.
Yeah, this is what we need right now. And then Kathleen Mitchell, who's one of our leaders, she's in Phoenix. She had a store, a CBD shop called Kaya Hemp Company. She had to close it down. She also had some personal things going on with her family, just suddenly that happened. So she just needs some support as well, and carries a really wide array of CBD products of all kinds. So if you're looking for quality CBD products, she is really curating them. And you can go to kayahempco.com, and she offered Ellementa 10 as a discount code for you. We're going to email this to you probably next week, so you'll have that as well. All right, enough of the slides, because we're getting down to the interactive portion of this program. Elana, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Elana Frankel. I am a yoga teacher and have been since 2001. I also study meditation. I'm a meditation mentor. And more importantly, or as importantly, and in conjunction with, I have a shop called Indigo and Haze, where I sell not only our own product, but a marketplace. So we curate and we find the best products possible. Oh, sorry, my earbud fell out there. We find the best product I know is possible, as well as supplement with our own line. And as of March 17th, I'm the author of the book, Women in Weed, which you can find on the site, Indigo and Haze, as well as Amazon. And it's really based on a magazine that I founded about 2 years ago, also called Women in Weed, that has been extremely successful, which I'm very grateful for. And the book company Simon & Schuster has decided to put the magazines together to create a book, and it's now out. So,
excellent.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
It's pretty amazing. It's challenging to launch a book in the middle of all of this.
Yes.
But it's been an incredibly supportive community, and it's been a lot of powerful connections being made. So I'm super grateful for everybody who has talked about it, heard about it, bought the book. So I appreciate
Well, I'm really glad that we're going to have you talking about the book in April as well. So stay tuned. At ellementa.com/book club, you can see our author interviews that are coming up, live interviews. Now, we have the main topic we're going to get to in a minute, which is meditation and CBD, then followed by a guided meditation you're going to lead. But first, I would really like you to share your personal story about your traumatic brain injury and how CBD came into your life.
Of course. So about 6 years ago, I was living my life. I was creative director of an online company. I was in Miami, Florida for work for a weekend. I was sitting at the dinner table with two of my friends. We just ordered appetizers. I stood up and said, I'm not feeling too well. I'm going to go use the ladies' room. And when I opened my eyes, I was having a CAT scan.
Wow.
Yeah, it was an incredible moment for lots of reasons. First and foremost, no one's 100% sure what happened because nobody really witnessed it, but either I had a seizure, fell, fainted, fell, then had a seizure. Either way, I fell. I had a 4-inch fracture in the back of my skull. The impact was so hard that my head thrusted forward and I bruised the whole frontal part of my brain. And when I woke up and I was having the CAT scan, I was presenting as a stroke victim. So I was garbling my words. That's what I sounded like. I couldn't move. I had really difficult time processing any kind of information, any kind of light, any kind of sound. I was in a pretty bad way. And I was alone. I was scared and I had no idea what was going on. I spent about a week in the hospital in Miami, spending time with doctors, trying to figure out and understand as much as I possibly could at that time what was going on. I was on a lot of different medications, and the seizure medication, blah, blah, blah. I finally got back to New York. I spent some time with doctors there, neurologists, and they all said the same thing. They said, you have a traumatic brain injury, and we suggest, and this is what the protocol is, bed rest until the swelling goes down, and then we can assess what the damage is. And I remember very little, but what I do remember, my husband saying, well, how long bed rest? And one of the doctors said it could take up to a year, maybe 3.
But this is not just bed rest, though. Wasn't it brain rest, which is way more intense?
Yes, this is bed and brain rest. So you basically are laying in bed. There's no light, there's no stimuli, there's no sound. You are just basically still all day, all night. And it was challenging for lots of reasons, obviously. At the time, like I said, I had a job, I have 2 kids, and it was scary. Finally, I think it was like after day 3, my husband, he and I could communicate a little bit better. He started to understand my gobbledygook, and I started to be able to write a little bit. Very sketchy though. And he said to me, we've got to find an alternative. This is crazy. And at that point I was like, I was desperate. I was like, I can't live like this for a year, maybe even 3. I had no idea. So he came back a couple of days later and he said, listen, I've been doing some research. And you have to remember, this was 6 years ago in New York, which is a prohibition state. He came to me and he said, I've been reading a lot online, particularly a lot of research out of Israel about CBD and about how doctors are using it for head injuries for soldiers with IEDs and with PTSD.
Wow.
And I was like, I don't know what that is, and I just was like, what is it? He said, don't freak out. But it is a chemical compound and extract of the cannabis plant. And I immediately was like, nope, I'm not getting stoned. I was like, nope, shut down. And he said, hold on. This is something different. This is not THC. It's not intoxicating. It's not psychoactive. And I think that coming from the background that I had, not only in yoga and meditation, but also plant-based life, plant-based living, as well as alternative methods to, Western medicine, he said, I think you should just keep an open mind. And at that point, as soon as I heard it wasn't THC, I was like, you know what? You're right. I will be open-minded about it. And so I was like, okay, let's try it. And again, it's one thing to say, okay, I'm going to try it, and then say, okay, I'm going to try it. Now what? Because I live in New York. Where am I going to get CBD? So I was extremely lucky enough to put out the word to people, send out my SOS, and I found a group of people that were willing to help, friends of friends of friends. They sent product, they sent ideas, And I started to do what I tell people to do now. I started low and slow. I figured out different, I tried out different products. I was given tea, I was given tinctures, I was given topicals, I was given vaporizers, and I just tried a whole array of different types of product in different dosages at different times of the day. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Sometimes I felt great, sometimes I felt nothing, sometimes I felt terrible. And I started to figure out through a journal that I kept and writing it all down, a protocol that started to actually help me, and I started to find relief. Did I lose you? Thanks.
Okay, hi.
Oh, hey.
I think
Did I lose you?
I got lost.
Oh, hey. Okay.
Hopefully you're still going.
I know. Hope my story kept going. But anyway, so I finally found some relief with the right protocol. As I said, starting low and slow. And I was able to not only feel better, but slowly and surely start to get up out of bed. And this was about 3 months into the process. And so there was a pretty amazing, discovery for me, and it was great relief. And so as I started to feel a lot better and come back into the world, at the time, the company I was working for was bought out by another company. I had a team of 40 people, and so I helped them transition to this new world. But I said, you know what? Once my team is set, I'm going to step back and rethink my life. This was literally a knock over the head. The universe was giving me a sign. I mean, I don't know how much harder I could needed to listen, but it was a hard knock. And I listened. And so I said to my husband, listen, I want to start a CBD company. This works. This helped me. I need to educate myself. I need to educate others. Again, this was now like 5 years ago, before CBD had exploded, before it was even as legal as it is now, less illegal.
Less illegal,
less
right?
illegal is what I call it, really. And so I was able to step away from my job and start to educate myself, learn, educate before medicate, really talk to as many people as possible, everybody from doctors and growers to extractors and activists, and spend a lot of time listening and learning. I spent a lot of time in the beginning of those years with my product, like a little Tupperware party, a little Mary Kay cosmetic with my little bags. I'd go to people's houses and I would throw little Tupperware parties, CBD parties. And I did it with friends first, and then it expanded all over the country. And I would sit with women in all ages and stages and hear about not only their own health and wellness, but their interpretation and understanding of the cannabis plant. And so I was able to give myself sort of great education, not only about the plant from the people who knew more than I did, but I was also able to talk to women and understand not only their health issues, but also how they felt about the plant, so that I could then start to tweak my brand and understanding of what I wanted, the message I wanted to convey. Simultaneously, giving access to really good, safe, curated product. The second part of my business model was education. So I started a magazine, Women in Weed, and then turned into the book. And then third was inspiration. At the time, there was a lot of, I call it bongs, boobs, and babes out there. And there really wasn't a lot of imagery and a lot of content and a lot of experiential marketing that catered to women, particularly of a certain age. I'm not 22. So I was able to then include that sort of inspiration and design value into the model, into the proposition. So it was access, inspiration, and education.
I love it.
And here
I love it.
Yeah.
So we're about to start our guided meditation for any of you who are going to participate. And I see a bunch of you already there. If you can make sure you're comfortable, whatever that means, seated in a chair or on the floor, on your bed, wherever you are most comfortable. I just would like Elana to say a few short words before she begins about CBD and meditation. What is the connection there for you? And I'm going to quickly go get a little bit of my CBD tincture. and take a little bit of that right before starting. So if you could just give a
Sure.
quick little blurb about that while I'm
course.
getting my CBD.
Of course. So for me, the combination of meditation and CBD is very personal. It's not about clearing the mind, it's about calming the mind. And if we needed calming at any point, now is a really good time. So I will say that it is important to understand your personal connection to the plant and to CBD, how it makes you feel and what it allows or doesn't allow you to do. Like I said, for me, it's about calming the mind. It's also really important to understand your intake method. Tincture was just taken, but you also have to understand your timing. Oop, she's about to say something. No. Anyway,
I took a gummy instead.
It looked like an edible.
It's not as fast acting, just
yeah,
everyone knows. The tincture, you switch around your mouth, hold it in your mouth, and it's pretty fast.
Right.
But
And
go
so
ahead.
that's what I was going to say about timing with CBD and meditation, particularly how long you meditate for. So if you do something like an edible, a gummy, it's a really good idea because it has to go through the digestion process.
Right.
To do it a little bit earlier than 2 seconds before we meditate.
I've already had my morning
I was going to say,
which is why I didn't want to have any more, because I did take some this morning.
You know your body. And the other thing that I like to do is, and again, I'm so sorry because you just like popped it in your mouth, but the other thing I like to do is sort of treat it as like a mini ritual before you do it. And so I know. And so you kind of elevate the experience so it doesn't seem as sort of lackadaisical. And
it's still in my mouth though.
Okay, good. So if you take a minute to really to feel what's happening through the process of your intake, if it's, the tincture under the tongue and spending some time feeling it, tasting it, smelling it, and really sort of connecting with the plant so that you are feeling just it's a part of you and a part of your meditation practice.
I'm going to black out now, so
yep,
you can take over from here.
I will. Thank you. We'll see you in a bit. So the idea of reducing anxiety and improving your concentration is part of my meditation, and it can be a part of yours. But I will say that our responses to environmental stimuli shape our actions. So especially in moments right now where there's so much chaos and craziness and anxiety in the world, there's so much unknown, any kind of relaxation and calming we can do will allow us to make better decisions in life. Now, we're also talking about right now, we're lucky enough to have this sort of time to ourselves. Maybe you're in a quiet room, you're sitting alone, your kids or who's ever living with you, whether you have animals, everything is sort of like quiet, you've got in this moment. But these are sort of tools and techniques that you can use throughout the day, that you can sort of take a moment wherever you're doing, whether you're sitting at the dinner table or whether you're actually walking from the dinner table to your bedroom. These are tools that you can use to sort of calm and relax your mind and get into that meditative spirit if you can't indeed sit in a room quietly for 5, 10, 15 minutes and meditate. So I'm going to ask everyone now to close their eyes. I'm going to keep my eyes open only because I'm going to try to do this guided meditation and keep track of where we are in the process. If you do open your eyes, that's okay. I think closing your eyes is a quicker way to get everything sort of feeling inward and shutting out the exterior. So if you take a minute to settle into your seat and feel as grounded as you possibly can, whether it's grounded in your feet or at the tip of your spine if you're sitting in a chair. So from the waist down, wherever you are, you're feeling nice and grounded, rooted. And then from the waist up, from the top of the head, You feel that sense of rise. It's almost as if you're lifting out of your seat. It's called root and rising. It gives you that sense of groundedness and lift. And that dual action is what allows you to start to settle into your seat, settle into the meditation. It's really important at this point to focus on the breath. Once you've settled in, once you've got that root and rise, it now becomes part of the breath. And the quickest way to calm the mind, the quickest way to get focused is the breath, the deep inhalations and exhalations of the body. As you inhale, the belly, the rib cage, the chest inflates, rises, opens. And then as you exhale, you keep that root and rise, you keep that lift, but the belly button starts to go towards the spine. You exhale. Inhale, expand the belly, the rib cage, the chest. Exhale as the belly button moves towards the spine. Push all of that stale air out. Now you can begin to find your rhythm. Find the deep inhalations and exhalations of the body that make sense to you. Now begin to understand the spine. Are your shoulders back? Is your jaw clenched? Release it. Release the tongue from the top of the mouth. And don't forget that spine goes all the way up into the head, so lift. Don't forget that breath. If you want to begin to count the inhalations and exhalations, you can inhale on a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, and then release. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold. 3, 2, 1. Keep the breath going. Keep that root and rise. And if you begin to wander, just return to the breath. Be mindful of the shoulders. Be mindful of the jaw. Relax the eyes. Find your rhythm. As you begin to come back into the room, back into your body, begin to allow the breath to return to its natural rhythm. You can gently flutter your eyes open. As I mentioned, bring yourself back into the room, back into the body. You may want to round the spine, stretch, reach the chest, stretch, round the spine, reach the chest. I just want to go over 3 different things we just did that you can take away with you and again use at any point during the day. This sense of root and rise, particularly when you're walking, feel the earth below you, feel the groundedness from the waist down and that lift from the waist up, the top of the head, root and rise. The next is the breath. It's a 3-part breath. The belly, the rib cage, the chest. You're inflating, opening, expanding on the inhale, holding at the top of the inhale just for a beat or 2. And then as you exhale, keep the root and rise, but allow the belly button to move in towards the spine. It's in with the fresh air, out with the stale. And then that third idea is about calming the mind, not clearing the mind, but calming the mind. Because with a calm mind, you can make better decisions. Make sense? I would love to answer any questions you may have, any comments. I'm here. Let's talk. It's a really good time to just let it all go.
All right. Wow. I like the root and rise. I've never heard that before. And I just felt myself just
Stretch.
pull. Yeah, stretching. Yeah. And then that whole thing with the,
around the spine.
Oh, the round the spine was.
Yeah, it's cat-cow. You can do it in a chair. Everybody does cat-cow on all 4s on the mat. But to do it in a chair is amazing.
Yeah,
to do it standing is also really good too. If you're ever standing on a line somewhere, if we're ever allowed to go back outside, hold on to your knees and really, stretch. It's a great feeling. It really helps, especially if you're in the supermarket. I've been known to do it in the supermarket a lot.
So
stretching.
Everybody, there's a Q&A function. There's also the little chat box wherever you feel comfortable typing in your question. We have a question from Linda asking, can you explain root and rise again? Can you go through that?
Of course. Yeah, it's a favorite. So I'm happy to repeat it as many times as possible. So this idea of root and rise, it's a dual action. And it's really from the waist down and then the waist up. So from the waist down, the bottom part of your body is the root. You can almost think of it as, if you want to visualize a tree trunk with the roots coming out of your feet into the ground. So you feel very grounded, rooted, solid, like you've got your footing from the waist down, from the base of the spine down. And then from the base of the spine up, you've got this lift. It's a lightness. So that from the top of the head, whoa, I knew that was going to happen. From the top of the head, this is what happens when you're a yoga teacher and you're trying to doing this with the earbuds. So from the top of the head, from the base of the spine, it's this lift, it's this rise. It's almost as if you have a little piece of dental floss, I'll so you can see, I'll scooch down, but almost if you have a piece of dental floss on the top of your head and it's pulling you up. And so that sense, that dual action of root and rise, that groundedness and lift, it allows you to feel that stretch and it opens up the parts of the body so that when you start to breathe deeply, oxygen, fresh oxygen gets in there and starts to oxygenate the blood and get the blood flowing a little bit clearer. Make sense?
Yeah, that was great. That was a really good explanation.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So a little message from Becca. Thank you so much. You're a woman
welcome.
for the time with your beautiful combination of skills.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for being here. I'm so appreciative that everybody, I was able to do this and it's so needed. So I'm so happy everybody took the time out of their schedule. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to wrap it up formally right now because we have reached our time. But if you have a few minutes to linger, we'll just sit and chat for a few more minutes. So you've been watching an Ellementa live event. We have a lot more in store for you, including this evening, March 25th at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. We've got Emma Chasen talking about cannabinoids.
Oh, she's the best.
She is the best.
She's the best.
You know her.
Oh my God. I just interviewed her for a story. She's the best.
Oh, love her.
We just talked about dosing. Love.
Yeah. And she makes all of the science so understandable. She's super enthusiastic. So that's this evening. If you haven't already signed up, please go over to ellementa.com/events. Sign up for that. Sign up for some of the other ones, including the April book club, virtual book club. Yes. With Elana again.
Yes.
So that will be talking more about her book. And yeah, thanks for being here, everyone. And we will see you everyone. Soon. Thanks. Okay, now they edit it, and we can and then we can stay for a few more moments. But thank you. Oh, my little chimey thing is good.
Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, I wanted a pleasant chime as opposed to.
Thank you.
There we go. My usual bell tower, pong, 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 pong. Hey, Erica. Well, everybody, thank you so much. Did you feel that root and rise, Erica?
It's beautiful. And I love meditation, and that was just what I needed there.
Good. Yeah, and sometimes you only need, it's not like you have to do an hour, 20 minutes. Sometimes you just need a little 5-minute, like
quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had already taken my midday dose about an hour ago, so I was good.
Yeah, see, I take, right now, since I review the CBD products for Ellementa, I've been, for the last few weeks, using Circle Labs out of California. And it's one of the ones that are the really, really pure kind. And so the flavor is cannabisy, but pleasant. Not too heavy and strong, as opposed to the ones I have some that are spearmint, lemon, orange, all those different flavors that they have. Chocolate mint, which is Vital Leaf, has chocolate mint. So that's what I've been using lately, and I really do like it. It's an acquired taste. Not everybody wants that taste, but the purity of it. There's several products I've been trying that are really pure, full spectrum, just really super good and rich. So I have to be careful not to take too much of it too, because it's potent.
No, it's yeah.
Yeah, it's not like you get high from it. For anybody who doesn't know, but one of the things you can get is a little bit of digestive stuff.
Yeah.
If you have too much of it, your body knows and your body adjusts, but then when you go overboard,
and you don't want to be too sleepy either. That's the other thing is that.
Well, yeah, if you take too much, you get sleepy.
Yeah, I get sleepy, which is great if you want to use it for sleep. But for meditation, you've got to find that, you've got to titrate till you find that optimal level.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
for sure.
We've got background people now, I hear.
Oh yeah. Whoop.
Anyway, thanks for hanging out, everybody who did. And Elana, it's so nice to see you, and we'll see you soon. And Erica, good to see you too. I'll see you this evening, Erica.
Tonight. Yes.
I'll see you tonight.
I'll see you tonight. It was nice to meet you, Elana. We'll see you.
Nice to see you too. Bye, everyone. See you again.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.